If you're thinking about moving to the Treasure Valley, you've probably spent countless hours on Google Maps just trying to figure out the lay of the land and where things actually are. Which city is close to Boise? What's the difference between Eagle and Meridian? Maybe how far is the airport from Star? You're in luck. In this video, I'm going to pull up the map and I'm going to walk you through it city by city so you actually understand the valley and how it's laid out before you even start shopping for that new house. Hey, I'm Kyle Korm with Windermere Real Estate Professionals. I work with buyers in the Treasure Valley, specifically in Eagle, Star, Meridian, and the surrounding areas, focusing on properties in the $1 million plus price range with those RV garages, the shops, the views, and the large lots. Before I jump into the map, if you're actively looking to buy and want someone who can walk you through the market, just text me directly. It's the easiest way to get a hold of me. My number is in the description below. Happy to answer any questions, no pressure whatsoever, and definitely no BS. All right, let me share my screen and we'll get into it. Welcome to my $2 tour. This is the Treasure Valley. As you can see, we're at a very high level here, so I can give you a glimpse of everything that you're going to see. But Treasure Valley, the heart of it is going to be Boise. As you can see, it's pretty well laid out as a grid. That's one thing that's easy about this city. It's super convenient to get around. Everything pretty much runs north-south and east-west. You've got your major highway, or actually freeway here, that runs through Interstate I-84. That'll take you all the way over to the Oregon border there. As you can see, it'll goes all the way across southern Idaho and drops down into Utah. Anyways, that's the main freeway. We'll zoom back into the Treasure Valley. Boise's the largest town. The Treasure Valley centers around it. So everything is basically in relevance to Boise. The airport is also down here, just south of Boise, right off 84. Super convenient, easy to get to, pretty much from anywhere in the valley. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You've got your downtown here. You've got your southeast Boise. You got your Warm Springs area that is run through here. You got some really nice houses along the river. And then you get your foothills that go up into this area here. And then you can even get into your north end, which is another really cool section of Boise. Downtown, the main core is going to be really the 8th Street. If we zoom in here a little bit, you can see 9th Street here. Then we get into 8th Street. They've got a row that's blocked off right through here. It's called Restaurant Row. And you've got a ton of the best restaurants. My wife and I really like to do date night every Thursday night. Oftentimes we'll stay around our area where we live, but every now and then we'll come down and enjoy some food. Down here on 8th Street, you got Fork, which is one of our favorite restaurants. They got a number of breweries, freak alleys down in this area as well. It's really cool. They're also expanding it to bring in more of the outdoor seating and just really enjoy the summertime. And again, it's just proximity, right? Everything's based around Boise. The other thing I want to show you is the stadium, which is going to be right here where all the BSU games are. And then you got your university over in this area. So this is where you get a lot of the college kids and dorms. And then the other thing is you can see there's just a ton of parks around. That's what makes this Treasure Valley so amazing. You've got Ann Morrison Park, the Boise Zoo's down here, Julia Davis Park, and then you've got the Warm Springs Golf Course. But all this is tied in with the Boise River that runs through town. And if I expand out of this, you can see that it starts down here and runs all the way through town and goes up into Garden City and then comes out into Eagle and keeps on going over through Star, Middleton. That's the one thing that really separates this city from others is access to the river right through town. You've got the Greenbelt, so you can walk along the whole river. It's got a trail where you can bike, run, jog, whatever you want to do. You can even take the little motorized scooters. It's a quick way just to kind of get around, show a lot of the downtown. That's pretty neat. One of the things that really separates us from the other communities really across the country. Other thing I wanted to show you is Lucky Peak. The river runs off of Lucky Peak Dam. This is a great spot for those that have boats, want to do some fishing, skiing, wake surfing, which I love to do during the summertime. Got a friend that's got a boat, so we try to get out as much as we can. This is our go-to. It gets super busy during the weekend. Just be aware there because it's so convenient, it's close. But if you can get out during the week, there's hardly anybody there. That's the prime time to go if you can make it happen. If not, schedules, everybody's got work. We get it. Evenings and weekends, you can do it. Just be prepared that you will have some congestion there. And then a little bit further out, Micron's right here. They're doing a huge expansion, and you can see in relation to the city, it's right about here, but it's southeast of Boise. They're doing 2 expansions, $50 billion plus cost-wise, and then with that, though, that's bringing, I've heard anywhere from 15 to 22,000 jobs to the valley. You're going to expect a lot of development happening over here, which we'll get into here. If you go down a little bit further, you'll see Mayfield. There's a big master plan development going in over here. It's going to be lots of houses. It's right off exit 64. And then a little bit further down, let's see if we can find it. It's going to be Peregrine. Let me switch layers here and I'll show you. Peregrine's going to be developed all around this, and then a little bit further up as well. And that is exit 674, sorry. That's going to be another big mixed-use development. You're going to have, not residential, but more like commercial. A couple casinos are scheduled to go in there or possibly go in there. You've got some industrial. You've got a ton of development happening along the I-84. Let me get back over here. It's just a little bit easier to see. But you've got a lot of development happening along the I-84 between that Simcoe Road, which is right here, and roughly right around this area. A lot of development happening over here. I think that's probably going to be the biggest area for the development within the Treasure Valley. There's 2 other big master plan communities going in this area. Look for a lot of development happening in the Southeast Valley. The good thing about that is it's super convenient if you are looking to come into town because of Micron and the expansion. Maybe you're getting a job there. This is going to be super convenient because you're not going with traffic. All the traffic's going to be coming in this way, coming in from west to east. If you're down here, you're going to miss all that, and it'll just make it 10, 15-minute commute. Super simple. That's kind of Boise in a nutshell. You can see Southeast Boise, East End, Boise Heights, Highlands, West Boise. We'll do a little more deep dive in some future videos, but I just want to kind of give you a 10,000-foot elevation on Boise. And then next we'll move into Eagle. Eagle's going to, actually before we do that, I talked about I-84. That runs east-west through town. And then you've got some main arteries that connect the rest of the Treasure Valley. One of those is going to be Highway 55. A lot of the locals will call it the busiest road in Idaho. It's a 2-lane road. It is a highway, and it runs straight through a lot of development. There's a ton of traffic. There's a ton of development along this road. One of the things you kind of have to keep an eye out, typically it was 55 miles an hour, but that is changing. They're putting in some speed limit signs that are going to fluctuate between 45 and 55 miles an hour depending on time of day. So keep an eye out for that. That's something that's changing. I've got a feeling they'll probably start giving you some tickets. But again, busiest road, but this connects north to south. And it's a pain. During rush hour, there's tons. It's not just a highway. There's tons of stoplights along this. So it's a lot of stop and go, 55 miles an hour. If you catch the lights, it's a nightmare. I personally try to stay off this road just because it's so busy. I know a lot of other people do as well. And then the other main artery that connects east to west is going to be Highway 26. That comes out of Garden City. You can find that through Boise, connects to Garden City, and then comes up. You can kind of bypass all this because it's one of the main thoroughfares. It gets very busy. People will start taking side streets, and you get McMillan, you get U-Stick. All those get super busy too. It's kind of just figuring out what works best for you and what's going to be most convenient. We'll move further west. Here's Meridian. We've got Eagle, and you get Middleton up here, Stars right here. So it kind of gives you a layout of the land. Like I mentioned, 55 is going north-south, but they are doing, so this is Highway 16 right here. This goes up into Emmett. Expand a little bit here. This goes up into Emmett, a cool little town, up and coming. I shouldn't say up and coming. It's already developed. It is a little bit more rural, a little more country. The 84, they've got a large project that's being finished in fall of 2027. and that's going to connect I-84, and 16 is basically going to come down and connect to I-84. If we go to the layers here, you can see this along what's already being built. Some of it's already there. They've got some minor construction completed on segments of this, but this is supposed to be finished, like I said, fall of 2027. I'm expecting huge development over here, just a big boom as soon as this gets done. There's already some big projects that are planned. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you that this is going to be a connector, and this is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on because it will alleviate some of that traffic that's coming through on Highway 55 over here, that people to get to Emmett or Star or Eagle have to take this road. Now they can just come out of downtown Boise, hit 16, go up and connect over there. Super excited to have that done. I really think that's going to help alleviate some of this congestion on Eagle Road. At least I hope so. But let's go back into Eagles. Eagles right here, north of Meridian, northwest of Boise and Garden City. This is where you're going to get your higher end living. Eagles known for luxury. You get your larger lots, you got great schools, you've got an amazing downtown. Let me pull it up here. Main Street runs right through here. They've got some great restaurants, cool little shops. Da Vinci's is up here, one of my favorite Italian restaurants. You've got Spitfire, get the best the best Al Pastor tacos in town. Love them to death. Try to get out there as much as I can. Cocktails are pretty good too. But yeah, so Eagles cool, Main Street. They've got a bunch of fun things to do in the little park. They've got farmers market every Saturday morning. I think that runs through summertime. They've got a great bakery that has a tent there. And then if you've got a dog, you got to check out the dog treat lady. Her name's Terry. She's awesome. She's got a ton of great treats, all natural, organic. Anyways, fun little place to check out with the family. And then they also they'll do a bunch of parades and stuff there for the holidays. One of the fun ones for the families is the water parade. The fire trucks come out, they're spraying people. Everybody lined up along the streets has got water guns, and it's just a fun mess. But yeah, that's always a good time. And then if we talk about residential, you can come down here and you'll see there's some really big luxury developments in this area and then this area as well. You've got Two Rivers over here, which is really well known. If you want a great established neighborhood, it's super beautiful in there. Sold some clients a house there a few years ago, and they just absolutely love it. Across the street's a little bit more new development. You've got Mace River Ranch and a few others over in this area. That's really taken off, super luxury. Some of them have river access along the Boise River here. And you'll see they call it Two Rivers because the Boise River, it forks, right? So you got the South Channel here and you got the North Channel here. It forks back over here. And then that's a little history lesson. That's why I call it Two Rivers. Also, for those of you that like to fish, I love fishing this lower South Channel. You can pretty much fish anywhere along this, even to the little walking bridge where it splits. They got some good pockets of water anywhere along this. And you got the bike trail or you got the Greenbelt. So you can always walk and bike a lot of that if you want to get to it. And then start coming over here. The Greenbelt does end over this way, so you got to be a little careful. You can only go so far. But yeah, super great area to fish if you're into that. And so that's Eagle. As you can see, again, north, a few ways to get into it. Eagle, you're probably, I'm guessing, traffic, like probably, depending on where you're at, 25, 35, 45 minutes to the airport. Just keep that in mind. Again, depends on traffic, but yeah, and then again, depends on where you're located. Let's get into Meridian, and it has a north and a south section, and it's broken up by I-84. So anything north is going to be considered North Meridian, anything south of I-84 is obviously going to be considered South Meridian. Fun little history fact, Meridian is on the Boise Meridian line, and if we scroll down here, you can see the initial point of Idaho. This is where, when Idaho became its own territory, they had to survey the land and do the grid systems. This is the reference point for all the roads in Idaho. That's where they get it on the Boise Meridian line that goes from here all the way north of the border. And it basically runs dead center along the panhandle in northern Idaho. Fun little fact, everything is grid. It's super easy to get around if you guys haven't visited here yet. It's a mile block. Everything runs north, south, east, west, pretty much everything, except over here in the Boise, it gets a little confusing because it was following the river line. And but once you get outside of Boise, you'll see that it picks up and it's super, super easy to get around. So don't let it scare you. You'll get some vantage points over here, and then Bogus Basin ski resorts up in this area. You can use that as a reference point, and you got your Wahis that are down south around this area, and you can just kind of get the lay of the land just by looking at where you're at. And of course, the sun, right? Rises in the east, sets in the west, so that gives you a point of reference also. But let's get into Meridians. That's where I live. I really love Meridian. We kind of get the best of both worlds, in my opinion. You still get a little bit of the country feel, you still get to know your neighbors, but you still get some of the big city. There's a lot of development going on out here. There's some great food restaurants that are coming in, and it's the best of both worlds, really, in our opinions. Highway access is super simple. There's multiple ways to get down to the highway from Meridian, or either way, really. You got Meridian Road, that's access right here. You've got 10 Mile, which is right here. All those give you highway access, which is pretty easy. And of course, Eagle Road, you get access. You can just hop over and catch that as well. South Meridian, there's a lot going on down here. Costco's going in on Meridian Road and Lake Hazel. So that'll be right about here. That's going to be a big development. They got a lot going on there. Some commercial, retail, medical office, high density residential. And then up a little bit, or actually down a little bit further south of that is going to be Columbia Road and Meridian. You've got Winco going in there. Another development, they're going to do some shopping area, plan to build around that. Winco is going to be the anchor. And then if you go up to, scratch that. And then, Meridian and Amity up here, they've got another development going in called Syringa Crossing. I'm going to have some apartments, townhomes, some commercial, possibly another grocery store. This whole corridor, Meridian corridor, is just exploding right now. There's a lot going on there on the south side. Anywhere along there, you're definitely going to have some options if you want to get a little bit further south. And again, you can, there's some pretty easy access to freeways and airports and Micron and stuff from over there as well. If we go up to North Meridian, ton of development going on here. 10 Mile and Meridian is going to be a huge development. So that's going to be the district at 10 Mile. The anchor store there is going to be Target. It's going to be the largest in the valley. You've got Lifetime Fitness, if anybody's familiar with them. We moved from Phoenix years ago, and my wife absolutely loved that. So they're finally coming into the Treasure Valley. That's going to be their flagship store. I'm expecting that to be the biggest location. They currently have another one up in Eagle off 26. Oh, I'm sorry, up off of State Street coming out, probably right about this area. But yeah, the district at 10 Mile is going to have the Target, the Lifetime Fitness, a bunch of other restaurants, possibly 2 hotels, some more shops, industrial. They got some townhouses going in there. That's talk of the town right now, big development. Of course, you're going to get more traffic, which is going to be unfortunate, but we could use the development over there, some more access. Hopefully they'll bring in some great local restaurants, not just the big food chains that are coming in. If you've been tracking the valley, we've got so many new pizza shops, chicken shops, and it's just, they're all over. I really wish they'd do something more local. Anyways, that's Meridian, and like I mentioned, that Highway 16 is going to be coming in, right around this area, right through here. That'll be a big connector for Meridian. You're going to see a lot of development along this as well. So far, the 2 places I'm expecting to see the boom is going to be along I-16 corridor, and then south that we talked about over here along I-84, and even in this area where Kuna or just east of Kuna. That's really where I'm expecting all the big development in the next few years. All right, so that's Meridian. Let's move into Star. Coming out of Eagle along Highway 44, you'll run into Star. I love this little town. It's such a great little community, and it's growing like crazy. It is just insane how fast this is moving. It's one of the fastest growing towns in Idaho. And you want to talk about fun community events. They're doing all sorts of stuff during the holidays. They've got a great 4th of July parade. They have one of the best 4th of July fireworks shows in the valley. We did that one year, and it was just amazing. And then you get larger lots out here. You've got room to breathe. If you want those shops or detached garages or anything like that, you've got the land to do it on, and it's a little bit cheaper. It was a little bit cheaper. It's starting to become known for luxury because you're getting the large houses, $1 million plus on large lots, and it's growing so fast. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of development that's going on for that average price range, but that little town's growing really fast. They're doing a revamp of the downtown area. They're going to break it into 5 districts. They're each going to have their own little theme or vibe. There's going to be an art district, a village district, the river district, They're doing a state highway corridor district and then the Star Road corridor. And like I mentioned, it's all going to have its own little vibe. It's going to be connected through bike trails, walking trails, which is really cool. It's really going to expand that little town. And the locals might not be all for it, but some of the people that are moving in and that have just moved in, they're really excited about it. It's kind of, I guess, choose your boat or choose which camp you want to be in. I like to see it, but I still want to keep that small town feel. I grew up in a small town in Missouri called Kearney. We had 2,500 people when I moved up there, and I really love that. Looking back on it, I'm really grateful that we were able to be raised there because we could just travel the whole little town and everybody knew everybody's business. And that's kind of what you get from Star. But it is growing. Just keep an eye on it, but it's got its own little vibe. And then let's see, let's head over to Middleton. So if you keep on going along Highway 44 here, you're going to get into Middleton. Now, this is rural. I can remember when I first moved up here talking to another agent that lived out here, and she was just complaining it was so far from everything. That's changing. You're getting a lot of luxury properties out here. You've got some river access, and you got some affordable pockets if you want to kind of get away and really get a little bit of the feel of the small rural Idaho lifestyle. You're going to get it here in Middleton and in Star. There's the Middleton Market that runs every third Saturday from June through August. That's a pretty fun little thing to check out. And then, yeah, you just got cute little town. You've got easy access to I-84 if you want to head out of town. Here, if you want to get to the airport, you're probably a good 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on traffic and depending on which way you're going. Just keep that in mind. Star, you're probably looking at 30, 45 minutes, depending on where you're at. Eagle, we talked about. Meridian, it takes me 15, 25 minutes, depending on traffic. So that's Middleton. Let's expand out here a little bit and we'll drop down into Kuna. Kuna is another cool little town. You've got a lot going on down here. This is named one of the top boom towns in the country. It's growing quickly. There's about 1,000 new residents per year that are coming into Kuna. Business license, just to give you a little reference, 2023 they had a little over 100. 2025 they had over 300. That's 3 times the businesses coming into that town. That kind of gives you an idea of how fast it's growing. It is going crazy. On the southern edge, you get some acreage, different buyer profiles. There is a potential large youth sports complex, which is an interesting project going in down here in Kuna. At least they're trying to get it in. They're trying to fund it based off of donations. So last I heard, they're probably, 15% of the way there. It's a $120 million youth sports complex. So it's going to be the largest in the Northwest, which is pretty impressive if this thing comes to fruition. But it's going to be 114 acres, going to have indoor-outdoor fields, family fun zone, hotels, dining. If you've got kids in sports and traveled all around, you've probably seen some of these. I think there's one in Alabama. It's going to be huge, and it's going to put Kuna on the map. Be on the lookout for that. That's going to bring in a lot more activity, and it could eventually, I think the last numbers I saw, something like bring, $25 million in revenue the first year and up to 60 million or something like that the following years. That could be great for that town. So Kuna's good. They got some great Mexican food. Oh, point of contention is Meta put in their data center there. Some people love it, some people hate it. Either way, it's there. And then there's some very large master plan communities coming in just past Falcons Crest Golf Course. And then a little bit further out, those are going to bring in thousands and thousands of homes. You can definitely see why it's growing so fast. All right. That's pretty much it. Everything I wanted to cover in this first video. Again, just give you a high overview. You've got Boise, Garden City we didn't really touch on, but that's another up-and-coming little community. You've got the new soccer complex there for AC Boise. It's our new soccer team. And we got the Hawks Stadium, a lot being developed over there on the Greenbelt. There's some new apartments and restaurants and stuff going over there, which is pretty awesome. And then you can come out of there, go into Eagle, and then you've got Meridian over here. Eagles up here, just follow that over to Star, Middleton, and then you come in and you've got Nampa and Caldwell. So I'm not going to spend too much time on those. You're going to get good bang for the buck on those. You can get a little more house for the price. And it's up and coming. It's definitely a spot for some people. If pricing a little closer to Boise is going to be a little too expensive, then definitely going to recommend going a little bit further out to Nampa and Caldwell. Some great options out there as well. There you have it. That's the lay of the land. Every city has a very different vibe, very different price points, and different things to offer depending on what you're into. There's no wrong answer here. It really comes down to what matters to you and your family the most. If you want to go deeper on any of these areas, I'll have more videos in the coming months. Want to see something specific? Drop me a note in the comment section below and I'll put it to the top of the list. If you're ready to start the actual process of buying something for the $1 million plus in the Treasure Valley, text me directly. I'm happy to help you figure out where you'll fit in. I'm Kyle Korm with Windermere Real Estate Professionals. I'll see you on the next one.